It's official pick time for UFC Nashville. I got my boy Hazi right here with me. We got a gun to our head. The cartel is waterboarding us. They're saying, give me the winner for every single fight on UFC Nashville. That's what we're going to do. Just a reminder, picks and bets are very different. If you want the bets, jump in the Home of Fight Picks Premium membership, and you can get all of them there this week for free. As always, we start with the first fight of the night. Hopefully you enjoy the new graphics. We're switching it up a little bit. All right, we've graduated from the UFC.com page. Cool. We got a little bit of graphics. I'm in the new studio. It looks terrible, but we're going to put it together. I got shadows behind me. We're going to have to figure it out. We're going to figure it out. Just give it some time. We got a nice little thumbnail as well. But Fatima Kline comes in here as minus 1,300. Melissa Martinez. Going to have to pull something out of that butt, dude. She's going to have to pull something out of it because I don't know how she's going to win this fight unless Fatima Kline just lays an egg. She could lay an egg, but I'd highly doubt it. I think she should be able to deal with Melissa Martinez on the feet. It might take her a while to track her down. Melissa Martinez got pretty good footwork, but once Fatima Kline tracks her down, I think her hands are a little bit sharper. And once she gets her hands going, she's going to be able to shoot that takedown. She's going to get that takedown, and she's probably going to be able to put Melissa Martinez through the ringer on the ground. My mic is falling. Hasbullah might want to say something. Hopefully not. Hopefully he can't talk. It's a freaking pillow. But either way, Fatima Kline is going to be the pick. There's the check mark for you in case you're watching this with the volume off. But Fatima Kline's going to be the official pick this week. I think she gets it done. We'll move on. Mike Davis taking on Mitch Ramirez. Is Mitch Ramirez that bad of an underdog? I wouldn't say so, but I don't think he wins. All right, he's plus 600. Mike Davis at minus 900. It's a little bit rich considering this guy has a lot of issues physically, mentally, but the dude is talented. I look at him fight and I look at Mitch Ramirez fight, and I think there's every reason why Mike Davis should win this fight. He's a much better fighter overall, better striker, better grappler, better wrestler. Unless he just goes out there and lays an egg, he's going to get his hand raised. So minus 900, Mike Davis, official pick this week. Very, very easy couple fights to take a pick on to start off the card. Now it gets a little bit tougher. Kennedy Nzechukwu, minus 205. I think he's the rightful favorite here. I don't think Walter Walker has faced much competition at heavyweight. He is a wrestler. That is what he likes to do. And he's faced Lucas Dresky, Junior Tafa, and Don'Tale Mace. And neither of them can wrestle or grapple. And ultimately, that is probably their weak points. So Walter Walker has had 3 fights in the UFC where his opponent was a good matchup for him, and he's won 2 of them. 2 of them have been by heel hook. Is he going to come in here and get a heel hook against Kennedy Nzechukwu? I highly doubt it. Kennedy's got more UFC experience. I think he's the better athlete. He's definitely the better striker. And he's got an 80% takedown defense. So can I really confidently say Walter Walker comes in here and gets a W? No. I think Kennedy's the rightful favorite. I'm going to take him for the official pick. But if Walter Walker does have 15 minutes of cardio, I think he could maybe win. I just don't think it's very likely. Kennedy Nzechukwu is going to be the official pick this week. For the heavyweights, we'll move on from lower level heavyweights to some WMMA. This card is looking great so far, and everyone is taking off of work on Saturday. Even if you don't work on Saturday, you're canceling all of your plans because Lauren Murphy is coming out of possible retirement for her retirement fight. You can't miss it. Lucky Lauren Murphy comes in at plus 425 against Eduarda Moura. Eduarda at minus 600 against, her toughest opponent to date. It's not looking good as far as, the line goes. I don't think Eduarda Moura at minus 600 is that tempting at all. But am I really going to be excited about Lauren Murphy, who hasn't fought in 2.5 years? She's 42 years of age. And her last fight, she looked terrible. I think Lauren could maybe dog out a decision, or at least a competitive decision where she probably still loses. But I think Lauren Murphy will give Eduarda Moura some resistance here. I just think Eduarda Moura is going to win this fight with her youth, with her durability. She's probably not going to, react to the shots as much as Lauren Murphy is. She's probably not going to wear the damage as bad as Lauren Murphy is. And on the ground, I think Eduardo Moura is probably the better jiu-jitsu girl, but, Lauren Murphy's not bad on the ground by any means. So I don't think Eduardo Moura is going to finish her on the ground. I think it's probably a Moura decision here. She's going to be the official pick, but again, minus 600. It's not looking good, boys. Let's move on. Better fight here. Chidi and Njokuani coming in as the favorite over Jake Matthews. Chidi comes in here off a win, and I think I have a little bit of an edge. When I always look at fights where I bet on the underdog and they came through, but a lot of people didn't, and then in the next fight, they're like, okay, this guy's just, he can't be beat, That's how Chidi was last fight. Not a lot of people picked him to win against Zaleski dos Santos. I did. But now he's going up against Jake Matthews, who I think is a worse matchup than Zaleski dos Santos is, because Jake is the better boxer. He's the better grappler, better wrestler. And I think he's obviously younger than Zaleski dos Santos. So there's a lot of reasons why I think Jake Matthews can win this fight. He's just got to have a good game plan. If he comes into this fight with a good game plan of pressure boxing, get this guy up against the cage, get him down to the ground, you have to mix in some type of wrestling here. You can't just have a 15-minute kickboxing battle with Chidi. Otherwise, you're probably going to lose. I think Jake is the younger, more durable guy. Chidi's been finished on multiple occasions. The weight cut at 170 doesn't look great to me. So I'm going to take Jake Matthews for the official pick this week. There's a dog play for you. I might bet it, might not. But I am going to take him for the official pick because I think Jake Matthews' boxing is going to allow him to have moments on the inside. He's either got to be in or he's got to be out. He can't be at kicking range. But if he is on the inside, rip combinations and get out or look to level change and get the takedowns. Just comes down to the game plan. And he has the tools to win. But if he doesn't have a good game plan, he's not going to win. I'm going to take him for the pick because I think the game plan is there to beat Chidi and Njokuani this week. I'll take him for the official pick. Let's move on. Chris Curtis taking on Max Griffin. Max Griffin nearing 40 years of age, or he might actually be 40. And Chris Curtis going down a weight class. Down a weight class at, 37 years of age. Not really sure why, but I think he might be more competitive here. At least he's getting an older guy as well. Or maybe he's just looking for easier fights at 170. Who knows? Who knows why Chris Curtis just decided to go down to 170. But I do think he wins. I think he's the better striker. He's going to have more volume. Got good takedown defense. And I think both guys are super durable. Chris Curtis has a huge, huge head. But the weight cut down to 170 does scare me a little bit. But from what I've heard about it is he only walks around at 190. Or he's been walking around at 190. So making 170 is probably going to be just fine for Chris Curtis. And he has made the weight before. So I'm going to take Chris Curtis for the official pick. Probably goes to a decision, but I expect Chris Curtis to be landing more combinations, probably the more eye-catching shots. And Max Griffin, when he does get hit, he doesn't react great, but he is very good with his recovery. And he is very durable. He's only been TKO'd once, and it was by Colby Covington. So I think the fight goes to decision, but Chris Curtis gets his hand raised. He will be the official pick this week. Let's go to the main card. Junior Tafa. This is where it gets weird. Hasbulla's might going to have to step in here and say something because this one's going to get really, really greasy. Junior Tafa sitting at minus 175. Oof. Tuco Tokkos, on the other hand, plus 150. Tuco. It's really tough to take Tuco Tokkos to win a UFC fight, but I got to give him a little bit of grace. He's losing to Navajo Sterling, who I think is a good prospect, who is a really, really solid striker, who's also durable and has pretty good takedown defense. And then he's losing to Umar Sy in a fight that he took on really short notice. And then you look back even further, his loss on road to UFC was to Ming Yang Zhang. And he was a huge favorite to win that fight. Terrible line, obviously. But he's fought some tough guys. Obviously, he hasn't won them. But I think Junior Tafa is not on their level when you're talking about all-around MMA fighters. We've seen Junior Tafa nearly get TKO'd by Sean Sheriff. I think his name was Sean Sheriff. His last fight, we saw him get heel hooked by Walter Walker. We saw him get laid and preyed on by Muhammad Usman. I think Junior Tafa's round 1 KO or bust. I don't know that his cardio is that great. He's moving down to 205, which is probably good for him, and maybe his cardio is better. But I can trust Tuco's cardio. I can trust his grit. I just don't think he does anything that well, but he does a lot of things solid enough to where I think he could maybe exploit the ground issues with Junior Tafa. So it's greasy. But I'm taking Tokkos for the official pick. Junior Tafa, if he wins, it's probably going to be a round one knockout, and it's going to age pretty bad. I think Tuco could maybe take him later in the fight and take over. So I'm going to take Tokkos for the official pick. Hazi, close your eyes on that one, brother. That's a greasy one. Let's move on. Vitor Petrino, Austin Lane. Now, I'm not getting crazy here and taking Austin Lane for the official pick, but I will say this. Austin Lane, one of these times, it's going to work out well for him. I mean, it worked out well for him against Rebellis to Spain. Like, you could tell this guy puts in the work. You could tell he's improving because his last fight against Mario Pinto, he looked amazing. You could tell he's up in his game a little bit. But as soon as he gets hit, the fight's over. As soon as he gets hit in that chin, it's done. And I think Vitor Petrino is probably going to be able to take him down or just knock him out on the feet. You know, I think Vitor's got some solid combinations. There he is. He's the official pick. I think he's got some solid combinations, fast hands, good hooks. And if he lands one of those hooks, Austin Lane's going to be sleeping on the floor. And if Vitor Petrino wants to take him down, he can take him down. Like, I don't think he's going to have any trouble taking down Austin Lane, and I think he's the much better grappler. So Vitor Petrino is the official pick, but he is coming off back-to-back losses, and one of them being a knockout loss, which was his last fight. So that's kind of why I think he might take down Austin, just because he's coming off a knockout loss. Does he really want to stand and bang going up a weight class against these big heavyweight guys? Austin Lane's a big dude. We'll see. But either way, Vitor Petrino is going to be the official pick. Minus 700, though. Miss me with that. Let's move on. Morgan Charriere taking on Nate the Train Landwehr. Nate the Train, the pride of Clarksville, going to be traveling an hour away to Nashville, Tennessee to fight in his home state. And he's a plus 235 dog. Morgan Charriere coming off a loss to Nathaniel Wood. He looked terrible. His UFC wins are Manolo Zacchini. Manolo Fettuccini. And what's his nuts? Gabriel Miranda, the dude with the creepy mustache that gets knocked out by everybody. It fights like once a year. Unless your name is, Shane Young. Like he subs Shane Young. Morgan Charriere, though, I think he's a solid striker. I think he's a decent grappler. But a lot of his wrestling is due to physicality. I don't think he's got like the greatest control or anything. And he's a guy that I think lacks flow. Unless he's fighting a Manolo Fettuccini, he never really seems like he's in a flow. Like when he's in a fight with a capable opponent, like a Chepe Mariscal, like a Nathaniel Wood, he doesn't really get into the flow of things. He's kind of second-guessing himself, not really doing the things that I think he should be doing. Against Nate Landwehr, Nate's going to bring the chaos. And if Morgan can't snipe him with something on the feet, I don't know that he's going to be able to keep up for 15 minutes and put on like a clean performance. So Nate is a plus 235 dog in his home state. I know I can trust Nate to grit it out as long as he's not unconscious. I trust that his UFC wins are better. He's beaten Ludwig Kline, David Onama. Like, those are some good opponents. Jamal Emmers, for all his faults, like, he's still a pretty good opponent. So I'm going to take Nate Landwehr here for the official pick. I think he gets this one done against the Frenchman, man. Am I really going to take the Frenchman to go into Tennessee and beat the home state Nate Landwehr? I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Give me the dog here in the Nate Landwehr, Nate the Train, pride of Clarksville. Look at that bicep, baby. Get it done. Great fight here. We got Steve Garcia taking on Calvin Kattar. Calvin Kattar is the underdog here, and I think he's being a little bit disrespected. I know he's on the long losing streak. He hasn't looked good, and a lot of the love is going to be on Steve Garcia. 5 straight knockouts in a row. But if you watch the fights, man, like, he is putting himself in danger at all times. All times this dude is in danger unless he's on top of you landing ground and pound. But when he's striking with guys, like, he is getting hit, and sometimes he gets dropped, sometimes he gets wobbled. And usually when he gets hit hard, he'll just kind of bite down on the mouthpiece and start swinging even harder. That works against, some level of competition. And I'm not saying his wins are bad, because a couple of them are pretty solid, and they're actually aging pretty well. Chase Hooper, Melquizo Acosta, like, those are some good wins, and they've aged pretty well. But Calvin's been in there with some really good competition. He's never been dropped. He's never been knocked out. The only time he's been finished was a knee injury against Arnold Allen. So, maybe the durability is fading just because he has taken so much damage over the years and he's been so durable over that however many fights. He's taken so much damage over the years to where I'm trying to say maybe this is the time where Steve Garcia, if he lands, Calvin Kattar goes out. But we haven't seen it yet. And I know Calvin Kattar has fought much better competition. I know Calvin Kattar is probably the cleaner striker. I would say Steve is more of just an aggressive striker that has really big power. So early on, things could look dicey, and Steve Garcia could maybe find an early knockout. But if he doesn't, I got to at least favor the veteran experience and the cleaner striking, in my opinion, with Calvin Kattar. So I'm going to take Calvin Kattar for the official pick. It's another dog for you. Plus 105. I mean, just think about 3-4 years ago. Would Calvin Kattar be an underdog to Steve Garcia? No. Obviously, you have to take into account what happened. But Calvin Kattar, plus 105. He's going to be the official pick. Let's move on to the co-main event. Gabriel Bonfim taking on Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. And Wonderboy still not getting any favors, man. They are really trying to get this guy to lose. I talked about it on the live stream last night with my boy Kyle. Make sure you go check that out. We went a little bit more in depth with things as far as every fight goes, as far as the betting breakdown perspective of it goes. But, Wonderboy must be getting a lot of money because they're not giving him any easy fights. And if they only have to pay him half of what, his full purse would be if he wins, they're probably up for doing that. And they'll probably pay the other $40K for Gabriel Bonfim to win. He's probably on like 30-30, 40-40. We'll see. But Wonderboy going to have a chance to win this fight. But I think it really just comes down to if Bonfim doesn't fight to his strengths. And what are his strengths? He's a guy that has really solid boxing, solid leg kicks. And once he gets into the clinch with you, he's got pretty good takedowns. And once he's on the ground with you, he's dangerous. So what does he got to do? He's got to pressure Wonderboy Thompson intelligently. He can't just walk in there and throw random strikes because Wonderboy is probably going to be able to counter him with some stuff. And his footwork can allow, some openings to where Wonderboy could take advantage of it. But if he's intelligent with it, I think the forward pressure, getting into the clinch, working for the takedowns is going to be able to get him a dub here. I could see another submission. But I do believe Bonfim's a good enough striker to hold his own on the feet and then work in the takedowns and look for that submission on the ground. So Gabriel Bonfim's going to be the official pick. Minus 400 is a little bit rich, considering Bonfim's best win is, Chaos Williams? I guess Chaos Williams probably his best win. And Wonderboy has fought really good competition, but Wonderboy is, 41, 42? He's in his 40s. He's coming off a knockout loss to Buckley. That's not great. And a submission loss to Shavkat Rakhmonov. So nothing to hang your head about. But back-to-back finish losses, this could be another finish for him. Gabriel Bonfim's going to be the official pick. That brings us to the main event, boys. The main event of the evening. Don't know why they did it, because this fight is not even favored to last one round. So I'm not sure why they scheduled it for 5 rounds when the fight's literally favored to end in the first round. But either way, Derek Lewis in another main event. He's had a ton of main events, and he is once again an underdog in a main event. Teixeira, one UFC fight lasted less than a minute, knocked out Justin Tafa with an elbow. And I think this guy is much needed in the heavyweight division, so I'm hoping he wins. And I am going to pick him to win. But I do think Derek Lewis is going to have his opportunities to knock out Teixeira. I just think Derek Lewis has shown many, many times in his UFC career that if things aren't going his way, he'll live to see another day and he'll just take the door out. And it's not like one of these things where I don't want to say he's quitting, but it's more like, okay, this dude's piecing me up. If I try to fight back right now, I might not be able to fight for the next 6 to 12 months. And I'm just going to take the loss and we'll just move on. Because Derek Lewis knows he's never going to be a champion. At this point, he knows. He fought for an interim championship against Cyril Gane. He got ran through pretty much for Cyril Gane standards. Cyril Gane doesn't really run through anybody. He just kind of leg kicks and jabs them for however long that they last with their cardio. But Derek Lewis has been there, lost, and he's picked up a couple wins since then. But I think Teixeira, with his style of a big, long dude, pause, a big lengthy, big girthy, no, big lengthy dude with his forward pressure. What I'm trying to say here is Teixeira puts a lot of pressure on his opponents, and Derek Lewis doesn't like pressure. And considering Towson has fast hands, a long reach, and pretty solid power, I think he's going to be able to hit Derek Lewis early on in this fight, and I don't think Derek Lewis is going to like it. He's probably going to live to see another day. So Teixeira is going to be the official pick this week. I appreciate y'all for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. Like the video for me. Subscribe to the channel. We'll be back here real soon with the best bets video, and we're going to keep working on getting this studio put together so we can bring you the best content around. Appreciate y'all. Till next time, hey, Job Picks and Hasbullah. We out.